I do not see myself reflected in what we learn because it is mainly because of when we study any sort of history, normally it is white American history, and then the only history about Black people is just slavery, and it kind of aggravates me.
All the times in U.S. history that we learned U.S. history in middle school or elementary school, and we never really covered ideas like slavery or racism or even like murders of indigenous peoples. Instead, we focused mainly on things like the Battle of Concord and Lexington or the Boston Massacre.
So often in our history classes and English classes, we are taught to see that which we learned through a singular lens of a white heterosexual male. And it's incredibly important that we give students the opportunity to learn through their own view and to see themselves reflected in the curriculum that's being taught. Whenever I was reading a book by an Asian American or watching a film by one, in class I was really able to relate to it and to get more out of it, not only in an academic environment and setting, but also in a personal setting. And it helped me better understand my own growth as a person in this society.
I grew up in a rural area that has become more of a suburb of Raleigh with the growth of the Triangle. I went to public school from kindergarten all the way through high school, and I attended school with a diverse group of classmates. But my teachers and administration and other certified staff were predominantly white. The same can be said about public schools today. There is still a lack of diversity among certified staff, and more so people of color are in positions such as instructional assistants, teacher assistants, custodial staff, child nutrition staff, and other non-certified positions.
Our schools are just beginning to have conversations about how we can incorporate more anti-racist ideas in our curriculum. But if we continue to have schools where there are only a handful of students who are Black and brown, where there are only a handful of staff who are Black and brown, our actions and our failure to take actions will always speak louder than our words.
Not only do we need to address the ways in which students are underrepresented in the curriculum that's being taught, but we also have to address the ways in which students are being targeted in the classroom through microaggressions or different ways in which they are marginalized in discussions. It's incredibly important to look at how we can better create an environment in which students feel comfortable to be who they are and to express themselves in a way that they don't feel ashamed or targeted because of their race.
I have witnessed racism within schools, and most of that experience has been targeted towards Black and brown children and their families. There are so many times that I have witnessed and overheard degrading conversations about students and their families. One of these examples is my emerging bilingual students are more likely to be brought up in meetings because teachers are concerned about their lack of progress and want them assessed for learning disabilities. This is very common within schools across the nation that EBs or emerging bilinguals are being mislabeled and over-identified as having learning disabilities, when in reality they are language learners and they have very unique and specific needs within the classroom. I've also had parents of these students communicate to me that in meetings they feel that teachers and administrators are not listening and taking into consideration their concerns. And that is if they even feel comfortable speaking up and advocating for their child. Assumptions are often made about parents' lack of interest in supporting their child's academics. The stereotypes that immigrant parents don't care about children's education is often repeated, as well as questioning the parents' background in education and literacy is brought up in very demeaning ways.
in the field of education or anywhere else for that matter. Anti-racism training is not a one-time thing, but rather a lifelong commitment which many struggle to accept, much less engage in. Anti-racism training and growth takes a deep level of self-awareness and willingness to accept that you indeed still have more to learn.